Hi, this is just a dream, and today I'm going to show you how to create an egg shader in Maya. I'll be using Vray's AlSurface shader, that is very good shader for creating triple S effect. Okay, and to get into that, what we need to first understand is what is triple S and what it stands for and what is the meaning of it. Okay, and triple stands for subsurface scattering. And what is that? For that I will give you a very good example that if you have ever seen that when you put a torch in your hand and put its light direction into your hand, and you will see start seeing that red color coming over it, and you will see your blood vessels that are there present in your body. And why are you able to say that? And reason for that is when you direct light towards any surface that have this property of subsurface scattering, what happens when light enters the object, it starts scattering across all over the object. Inside of the object it is not able to come out, but is scattering across all this across the surface of that object. And because of that we are able to see the insides of that object, like we are able to see the insides of our hand, those veins and all, we are able to see that. And even best part that you can see triple S very often is your ears. Actually they are thin, they are really thin. And because of that when light is easily able to pierce through them, obviously not as much as it will pierce through your glass material, obviously. And thing is that light enters in your ears, scatters throughout, and some point of it comes out. Okay, and that is why we are able to see that see the insides of our ear, or you can say our skin. Okay, and that is triple S. Okay, and if you'll see, here are some examples that I have of triple S. You can clearly see that subsurface scattering is going on here. And on the right you will see some settings are there that are basically the settings of a AlSurface shader. And here also there is one more example with different setting. So as I told you, I'm going to create a shader for an egg. So what is the step to create the shader of an egg? First we need to model that, obviously, because if you won't model that, where we will do texturing and lighting. And then I will create a light setup, because without light there is nothing that we can see in this real world. And also in our softwares we can't ever have a good look at anything without creating a proper light setup. Okay, and then after that I will create the shader using Vray AlSurface shader that I told you about. And after that I will just do bit of look development, not that much, and I will render with proper setting. Okay, so this is it. And now we are going to dive into it. Okay, and so let's go. So first we are going to create model of egg. For that I'll be doing poly modeling, and for that I will going in poly modeling shelf in here, and you will find a sphere in here. Okay, so select that and then click and drag. You will find that we have created an sphere, a nice little sphere. Now we need to give it a shape of egg. For that, what will I do? I will use a lattice deformer. Okay, and lattice deformer is like freeform deformation in 3ds Max. So now I will select this and go to deform lattice, sorry, here lattice, and I will go with the default setting, create, and select this box, that is lattice box. Now right click and there is lattice point. So these are the lattice point. By using them I'll be deforming our mesh. So I've selected all the points, and now I will move it, and you will see that it's moving but in a soft manner, right? But I need other sections of this sphere to move too, not as much as this section, but bit movement must be there. So for that I will be using soft selection. Okay, so I will press B is the shortcut for soft selection. There is another way to do that, and that is double click on your move tool, and the tool settings will open, and in that tool setting you will find soft selection. All you have to do is on it, and there is a very good option, that is fall of radius. Means how the effect of this soft selection is going to be decreased with distance. Okay, so 5 is the default value, and if you want to change it you can change it from there, or there is another shortcut, that be middle mouse button and drag. So if you will drag down it will increase the area, if you drag up it will decrease the area. Okay, so I'm just increasing it, and then what will I do, I will just move it upwards. Okay, now oval shape has been created, but even if you know that at the topmost area of the egg it gets shrinked. Means it's not as thick as at the bottom, or you can say other way. So I will just use scale tool, and I will uniformly scale it. To uniformly scale it we have to select this middle section, okay, and drag it. So a shape of egg has been created here. Okay, and now I want to keep this shape, and I want to get rid of this lattice. For that I need to do is edit, delete by type, history. So whatever history was associated with this geometry is now gone. Okay, and now I need to make it smoother. If you will see, it's looks weird, kind of weird, right? So make it smoother. What I will do, I will use a very good option, that is edit average vertices, and I will go with the default setting and will say average. What it does is average out the area affected by each vertex or polygon. Okay, so now the shape is looking good, and thing is that when we are working in VFX, or you can say VFX industry, we need high poly models. And why is that? Because more polys means more calculation, and more calculation means more accuracy. Okay, so for that I need good result and high quality result. For that purpose I will maximize the number of polygons, but not too much, it should be enough, just enough. Okay, for that purpose what will I do, I will just apply smooth. And how did I do that? Just shift and right click, and you will find smooth. And smooth you will find there is various option, but for us one option is very important, that is division level. It defines how much it is going to subdivide this polygon, and subdividing means it will create a line or edge vertically, and it will create a edge horizontally on the same face. Means it will, for this face it will create like this and like this. Okay, so I will apply, and now you see we have more poly count. Okay, so I'm fine with this, and I'm thinking that it's good enough. And now I need to create a setup for the lighting, right? So for most of the product lighting we use backdrops. Okay, so I will show you what I'm talking about. So I will go to plane and create a plane. Okay, um, we will bring it back, don't worry. So right click and edge mode, I will select this edge, soft selection is on, I will off it. Okay, and then shift right click and edge extrude. So what I'm doing is I'm to create that wall, that is backdrop wall, and I'm just making it like that. Okay, and I told you now that we need curved surface, curved area. These edges will actually won't look good, but if we make it curved, the light transition will be smoother. Okay, so I'll select this edge, right click and bevel edges, and I'm setting that 0.2 and segment is 5. I will apply, and I think it's coming fine and great. Okay, so I will just increase the size of it both vertically and horizontally. Okay, and now I will bring out our egg on the top of it. Okay, you can think of it as a ground with a curved wall. Okay, so for properly bringing it out I will use orthographic view, and I will get there and bring it out. Okay, so this is how we have positioned our egg. So to set up a light, we actually need to set up a camera first so that we could do lighting according to that. Okay, so in perspective view, how to set up that camera, there is lots of ways to create cameras. And so most basic is go to create camera and then create camera and aim. There is a stereo camera and camera aim and up. So but as you know, that will not have that much control, and we want that control over here in viewport. So for that purpose, what will I do? I will move uh, in this perspective view here and there, and once I find that view, what will I do? For instance, this is the view I want to be rendered. Okay, so for that, what will I do? I will just make this view as a camera view and save it. Okay, so to create camera from this current view, what will I do? I will just go to view, and there is create camera from view. So as I clicked it, you will see a new camera has been created with the name perspective one. So we are going to rename it properly, and we will rename it as render underscore cam. Okay, also we need to rename our geometry. So I will select egg and rename it as egg underscore geo. And for this backdrop, I will rename it as backdrop underscore geo. Okay, geo is for geometry, and we all know that this is geometry. So I've set up a camera, but I don't know what is the reason that is going to be rendered. Okay, for that you must click here. So this will tell this is the reason that is going to be rendered. And if you see that our background is being visible, that the blank space is being visible, so I need to set up a camera like that, that our backdrop covers this whole area that is going to be rendered. So I will just zoom in. Okay, and I think now it's fine. Okay, so I have set up the camera, I have made this whole backdrop and this egg. Okay, now I need to set up this whole lighting system, right? So to set up that light system, I will use V-Ray's rectangular light. Okay, so I will go to create, and in lights you will find V-Ray rectangular light. Okay, rectangular light is basically an area light, and I will suggest you to use area light because it gives more control over the shadows, and it's actually realistic in nature, because every light that you see in your real world is actually an area light. For sun, it's a very big area. For bulb, it's not that much big obviously, but it's also an area. So lights in real world emits from an area. Okay, so to mimic that real world effect, we need to create an area light. Okay, so created this light. So to place it properly, I must use top view, my favorite view for setting up lights and cameras, because it gives a whole look of your area. Okay, so you must have heard of three-point lighting, and actually I'm not going to use that three-point lighting completely, but a concept of it. Okay, so use that. You will see here is camera, and according to three-point lighting, we must place our light on the any half of our any part of the our camera. Okay, like in this section or in this section, but not 180-degree opposite. Okay, that creates a suspense or something like that. For product lighting, it is not a good thing. Okay, so what will I do? I will just rotate this light towards our egg. Okay, and to make it proper, what we can do, we can press T on our keyboard, and it will give a target to this light. Okay, and I will move it on the egg. Okay, so I will rename it, that is key lit. Okay, now I will just duplicate it. Control D is the shortcut for duplication, and now I will create a light that will be basically behaving like a rim light. And why I'm doing that, reason is because for subsurface scattering, rim lights are very important, and if you don't have rim lights, you may not see subsurface scattering. Okay, and in a boiled egg there is subsurface scattering. Okay, so control D again, and then duplicate it on the other side. Okay, and I will rename it as rim 2. Okay, so I pretty much set up this whole setup for our lighting, for our presentation of our egg. So what will I do? I will just go to our camera view and render it once. Okay, so here in V-Ray tab, there is a quick setting button. You must be knowing about it. What it does is that it quickly sets your parameters in render setup of V-Ray. Okay, and for that purpose, there is a second option, that is interior setup. Thing is that this option worked for me in various projects, and I will just click on it. What it will do, that it will change the settings to proper settings, that is good for interior, and GI options also, that is good for interior. So here is render button. I will click on it and it will render. Okay, it's not rendering. Thing is, I think my license is not working. So I will go to Windows, setting, plugin manager, and I need to reload this. Okay, so I will click on it and reload it. Okay, so I've refreshed it and now click on render. So you will see here is the render that we are getting, and you will see that our lights are visible, their shape is visible, and we don't want that. And one more thing, in 3-point lighting you must have heard this term high key, means our light should be positioned above our subject. Okay, so what will I do? I will just bring it up. And why we do that, there is a reason, because in daily life you will see that lights that we encounter is basically coming from above us, so it creates that natural look. Okay, so I've set up it, and now I will go to its options so that we can make it invisible. So select this key light, go to attributes, and here in option you will find invisible, and just make it invisible. Okay, so I have made it invisible, and now let's have another test render. Okay, so I will right click on it and current render camera. Okay, so this is the light that is coming. If you will see, there are lots of shadows in this ground, and it's looking kind of weird, and also our key light is not that much intense, so we need to change that. And I will change the intensity of our key light, that will be 50. I think 50 must work. And if you want this live projection, means live render, all you can do is use this IPR rendering. So I will just click on render, and it will present whatever I'm doing here as soon as I'm doing it. Okay, so I will just go to this light, and the thing is that these area lights are not that much big, and if our light source is not that much big, means not a bigger, don't doesn't have a very big area, what it will do, that it will create harder shadows. Okay, but we need softer shadows from our rim light, so I will increase the size of it. Okay, so I'm increasing it, and you will see that as I'm increasing the area, shadows are getting softer, but intensity is also increasing, and I don't want that. So for that purpose, what I will do, I will just select this, and there in attribute editor you will find there is attribute name unit, and I will change it to watts. What it will do, it won't affect the intensity with increase in the size of this light. So I will increase the size. Okay, and now we'll see that shadow has got softer, and also for this rim light I will do the same. So here we go. So I've made it soft. Now you only see more of this shadow by key light only, and I'm going to increase the size of this key light also again, sorry, intensity of this key light again, and that I will make it 70. I think it's even less. I will go with 100, maybe 150. Okay, so I think this is the good value that we can work on. I think it's a bit too much. I will make it 120 for now, and in later in look development we may change it. Okay, also we need to increase the intensity of our rim light, because if you'll see, rim is not being created properly. Okay, so I will go with the value of 0.1. Now it's coming fine, and for this one also 0.1, so it's also coming fine. Okay, so we have set up the camera, we have set up the light, we have modeled our egg. So in next part we will do the whole shading, look development and rendering. Okay.